说中文。
Chinese pot, Chinese pot, Chinese pot. That's the way to learn Chinese. Chinese pot, Chinese pot, Chinese pot. That's the way to learn Chinese.
Hello, newbies. You're listening to Chinese Pod, coming to you from Shanghai. I'm Jenny.
I'm John. So today we have a special lesson dedicated to all you listeners with lots of sisters.
Ooh, a lot of sisters.
And not just any sisters, right?
They're your older sisters.
Because in Chinese there's a difference.
Yes.
And why don't we give them a little help before we get into the dialogue? Let's give them something to help decode the meaning a little bit.
How? Now, let's preview the word for older sister.
Okay.
姐,姐.
Okay, third tone 姐.
Yes,
And this means older sister.
exactly.
And we're going to hear this several times in the dialogue, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we have one thing we can latch on to. But before we listen to the dialogue, let's also put down a little bit of context for our listeners.
Well, in this dialogue, we have a boyfriend with his girlfriend, and the girl is introducing him to some of her family members.
Okay, so the family members, I'm assuming these are big sisters.
Yes.
They're coming over.
Yeah.
And also, maybe he wasn't expecting this introduction, right?
He's a bit surprised. Now, let's give a listen.
Okay, we have all we need. Let's do it.
Dialogue first time.
他们是谁？
她们是我大姐、二姐、三姐。
哇，这么多！
Second time.
他们是谁？
她们是我大姐、二姐、三姐。
哇，这么多！
Third time.
他们是谁？
她们是我大姐、二姐、三姐。
哇，这么多！
All right, so don't worry if that one little clue wasn't enough. We're now going to break down the entire dialogue bit by bit, translate it, and then we'll do a more comprehensive explanation. So let's get into that translation.
好，他们是谁？
They are who?
他们是谁？
Who are they?
他们是谁？他们是我大姐、二姐、三姐。
They are my oldest sister, second oldest sister, and third oldest sister.
他们是我大姐、二姐、三姐。
They are my eldest sister, second eldest sister, third eldest sister.
他们是我大姐、二姐、三姐。哇，这么多！
Wow, so many.
哇，这么多！
Wow, so many.
哇，这么多！
Three older sisters, that is kind of a lot, huh?
Especially in China nowadays.
Yeah, we're going to get into that more later. But now let's get into the specific details of the language we're using here.
好的 let's start at the very top.
Okay, so as we mentioned before, the boyfriend wasn't expecting the introduction, right?
Yes.
So right off the bat, he asks the question when he sees the girls coming.
He asks, 他们是谁？他们是谁？
Okay, so 他们 means they,
Yes.
and this 是, fourth tone, it's the verb to be. You never have to conjugate it. That's the beauty of Chinese, right?
Yes.
Okay, so they are.
谁？谁？
Okay, so this is the word that means who.
Yep.
Second tone, right?
Yes.
Can we hear that again?
谁？谁？
Okay, so if I want to ask who,
You can simply say 谁？谁？
all right, so that's a very useful question word. And I'd just like to point something out here about Chinese. You make a really simple sentence, they are who? Right? And that's a question.
Yes.
You got your question word. It's clearly a question. You don't have to mess around with the order. Boom, you're done.
Beautiful.
All right, let's hear that one more time. Who are they?
他们是谁？他们是谁？
Okay, so who are they?
他们是我大姐、二姐、三姐。
Okay, so in the beginning we have some repetition, right? We hear they are.
他们是，他们是。
Okay, so that ta is first tone, right?
Yeah.
And that mun is neutral.
Yes.
So they are.
他们是。And then we have a mouthful of sisters.
Okay, so there's 3 people here, right?
Yep.
And we're going to kick it off with my eldest sister.
我大姐，我大姐。
All right, so 我, third tone, that means my. And then the word to follow is?
大姐，大姐。
Okay, so here we have that 姐 that we mentioned in the intro, right?
Yes, and of course that means older sister.
Okay, but it's not here by itself. It's half of this word. So the whole word is,
大姐，大姐。
all right, and that means eldest sister.
Yes,
So da, that's fourth tone.
and when you see 大姐, you know we're talking about the oldest sister.
All right, so there's going to be more than one older sister
Yep.
when you hear 大姐.
Yes,
Okay, so next in line we have,
二姐，二姐。
okay, so you should recognize this 姐. And if you know your numbers, you should also recognize this R.
Yes, 二 fourth tone, meaning 2.
Right, so second eldest sister.
二姐，二姐。
All right, and if you know the word from 3, you should be inferring the meaning of the next one.
Yes, 三姐，三姐。
Okay, so san, first tone being 3,
Yep,
add it to 姐, and you get third eldest sister.
yes, 三姐，三姐。
All right, so can we hear this list one more time? The eldest sister, second eldest, and third eldest.
大姐，二姐，三姐。
Okay, we should also take this opportunity to talk about exactly what these words mean to Chinese speakers, right? When you're talking about older sisters,
Yep,
you're talking about relative to yourself,
yes,
right? The speaker.
yep. So the numbers here, they indicate your relation to them. They are your 大姐、二姐、三姐. So it doesn't necessarily mean they are the oldest and second, third oldest in the family. You might also have brothers.
Okay, so Jenny, let's also take this opportunity right here to talk about these words a little bit more.
Oh, 大姐、二姐、三姐.
Yeah. So let's give an example. Suppose you, Jenny, have 3 elder sisters,
Yep.
and you're the 4th. You're the 4th daughter in the family. We won't talk about brothers. There's no brothers.
好吧.
So you can say that you have,
I have 大姐、二姐、三姐.
okay, because you're speaking from your own viewpoint, and
Yes.
all 3 of them are older than you.
Yep.
But your 大姐, your oldest sister, she doesn't have any of these, right?
No. Nope.
She cannot say that she has a 大姐, 二姐, or 三姐, right?
Nope.
Because she's speaking from her own viewpoint,
Yes.
and she's the oldest, and there's no older sisters from her viewpoint.
Exactly.
All right, so we're not going to get into it further than there, but it is relative to the speaker.
Yep. Well, learning the terms and the relations between different relatives is a vast subject in Chinese.
Yeah, there is much that could be said about that.
Yeah. However, now let's march on to our very last sentence in the dialogue.
Okay, so the boyfriend has an astonished reaction.
Yep. And he says, 哇，这么多，哇，这么多.
Yeah, so this word, wow, is the way in Chinese to say wow.
Yeah. When you're astonished or surprised.
Yeah, I think at one point I thought that wow was a universal word, like it's some kind of instinctual response, but obviously it's not.
But loosely it is because wow sounds slightly similar to wow.
Yeah, maybe they're connected to some primal urge of to say some W word of astonishment. I don't know, but in Chinese, you don't say wow.
You say, wow.
All right, and you can use that right away, and I think it impresses Chinese people if you know that at least.
Okay, you can
Even
just
if that's
go
the
around.
only word you know.
So go out and practice. Wow. Wow.
You should be able to catch on pretty quick. All right, and the following part.
这么多,这么多.
Okay, so the word 这么 means like so.
Yeah, so it's an exclamation.
Okay, and followed by
多,多.
first tone, and that means many.
Yes.
Okay, so 这么多, that means so many.
这么多.
Okay, so this is the speaker's judgment. It's like, wow, I think that's a lot.
I think there were a lot of high heels clicking.
Maybe he's a little bit intimidated by all those women.
Yeah, you would naturally be, or is that also a cultural difference between Chinese and Western cultures?
I think if I were this guy, I wouldn't be intimidated. I'd be worried that I was getting set for a day full of like shopping and girl talk.
Oh, obviously you've never had sister-in-laws, John.
Yeah, that's true. All right, well, before we get into all that other stuff, let's listen to the dialogue 3 more times.
Sure.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Chinese Pod Trivia. Our first question is, how long will it take you to become an intermediate Chinese speaker using the Chinese Pod app? Is it A, the rest of your life? B, you should already be an intermediate speaker? C, 3 months? Or D, Chinese Pod has an app?
You should already be in.
Ooh, that is incorrect. The correct answer is C, 3 months. That's right. Head over to ChinesePod.com now to register for your access to over 4,000 lessons. Get the Chinese Pod app now on Google Play or the App Store.
Dialogue first time.
他们是谁？
他们是我大姐、二姐、三姐。
哇，这么多！
Second time.
他们是谁？
他们是我大姐、二姐、三姐。
哇，这么多！
Third time.
他们是谁？
他们是我大姐、二姐、三姐。
哇，这么多！
Now, John, I want to ask you, how many 姐 do you have?
I have 3 actually. I have a 大姐, 二姐, and 三姐.
Really?
No, not really. I just wanted to repeat those vocabulary words.
But honestly, how many older sisters
Well,
do
I
you
have
if
one
any?
older sister.
Ah, what do you call her?
Well, of course, I call her by her name, Amy.
Ah, that's something very different in China, in Chinese culture.
Yeah, because Amy's not a Chinese name, huh?
Besides that obvious one, we actually address our sisters and our relatives by title, not their name.
Oh, I see. So if you have a 大姐, then
Yeah.
you call her.
大姐.
Okay. Doesn't that seem kind of cold and distant?
No, it seems very affectionate. If you call them by their names, it would seem professional and distant.
Would it?
Yes.
Cultural differences here.
What a reverse.
All right. Well, anyway, Jenny, let me ask you now. Do you have any older sisters?
I don't have any 姐 because I'm an only child.
Okay, so no brothers, no sisters. Is this related to your generation in Chinese society?
Yeah, of course, because I was born in 1982. And the one-child policy started in the early 80s.
I see. So your parents, of course, being law-abiding citizens, had only one child, but that wouldn't affect older generations.
No. And I have to add that in China, actually, there are people who break the law, quote unquote, and have more than one children and have more than one child.
Ah, okay.
So that can be done.
But to get back to the other generation thing, my wife is Chinese.
Yep.
And on her mom's side, there are 9 daughters.
Wow, 这么多.
Yeah, so you can be sure that they use 大姐, 二姐, 三姐, and more all the time, right?
Oh, wow.
So even if it doesn't apply to you personally, when Chinese people talk about their relatives, you're going to hear these words.
Yes. Of course, we'll be back tomorrow, but in the meantime, we highly encourage you to go to ChinesePod.com where there's plenty more of lessons and practice.
Yeah, and there's lots of different ways to practice your Chinese. So we'll see you on ChinesePod.com.
There's an awesome community on the site. See you there.
再见.
再见.
As usual, ChinesePod provides an extensive selection of learning materials for this lesson on its website, www.chinesepod.com. You can access this lesson directly with the lesson number
1212.
So just go to www.chinesepod.com/1212 and you will find a transcript, vocabulary, and much more. The link again, www.chinesepod.com/1212.